They told me it was the hottest place on the planet, but hearing about it is nothing like actually feeling it. I'm standing at the edge of the Danakil Depression in Ethiopia, and honestly, my heart is pounding in my chest. The locals call this place the gateway to the underworld, a literal hell on earth, and they aren't joking. As our jeep rolls down into the basin, the air, it just stops moving entirely. It goes completely dead. You can physically feel the atmosphere getting heavier, pressing down on your chest, suffocating the desert light. We are dropping to more than 400 feet below sea level, descending into a completely alien world. Look out the window, and all you see is salt, dust, and an endless, blinding white expanse of cracked earth. The thermometer on the dashboard is already climbing past 40 degrees Celsius, and it's only mid-morning. Step outside the vehicle, and the heat hits you like a physical wall, like opening a massive oven door. By noon, the temperature spikes above 50 degrees Celsius, over 122 degrees Fahrenheit. Your sweat evaporates before it even forms, leaving a tight, stinging layer of grit and salt on your skin. Every breath I take feels like inhaling invisible fire, drying out my throat and burning deep in my lungs. Out here, silence isn't peaceful. It's heavy, it's oppressive, and it feels completely, utterly absolute. Yet, in this brutal wasteland, you see them, the Afar people, leading their ancient camel caravans across the crust. They mine the salt by hand, surviving in conditions that would kill a normal person in hours. It's truly humbling. We push further north, toward the Dalal hydrothermal field, and the landscape begins to shift, drastically. The blinding white salt starts bleeding into these unnatural, vibrant shades of neon green, yellow, and deep rust. It is terrifyingly beautiful. Like a psychedelic painting spread across a deadly, fractured, bubbling canvas. But don't let the bright colors fool you. This isn't water. These are pools of boiling, hyperacidic liquid. The guide warns us to step exactly where he steps. The mineral crust here, it's deceptively thin. Break through, and you aren't just burning. You're stepping into an acid lake that will dissolve skin and bone. The smell hits you next, a thick, choking cloud of sulfur, like rotten eggs mixed with harsh battery acid. You try to cover your face, breathing through a thick scarf, but the toxic gas emissions still sting your eyes. My eyes are watering constantly, my vision blurring, as the acidic fumes wrap around us in a yellow smoke. A sudden shift in the wind blows the toxic cloud directly over us, and a very real panic sets in. You start coughing, a deep, violently painful cough, desperately wanting fresh oxygen, but there just isn't any. We have to move quickly, scrambling over sharp, brittle salt formations just to find a pocket of breathable air. Your heart races, your muscles ache from the severe heat exhaustion, but primal fear keeps your legs moving. Finally, the wind changes direction, and I drop to my knees, gasping, pulling the hot, dry air into my chest. You realize just how incredibly fragile you are out here. Nature doesn't care if you survive or not. We retreat back to the jeeps, utterly drained. My water bottle feels warm, almost like tea, but I drink greedily. As the sun begins to set, the sky turns a bruised shade of purple and violent, fiery orange. But the heat, the extreme heat doesn't leave. The rocks have baked all day, radiating warmth into the night. We try to rest on woven cots under the stars, but sleep is nearly impossible in this suffocating stillness. The wind picks up slightly in the dark, blowing fine, stinging, salty sand across my tired face and arms. I lie there, staring up at the Milky Way, feeling a strange mix of absolute dread and total wonder. Tomorrow, we hike to Erta Ale, the Smoking Mountain, featuring one of the few continuous lava lakes in the world. We wake up hours before dawn. You have to climb in the pitch dark. The daytime sun is just too deadly. Armed with headlamps, we start the grueling trek over jagged, twisted fields of ancient black basalt rock. It sounds like walking on shattered glass. The brittle, glassy lava crunching loudly under our heavy boots. In the absolute darkness, the only thing guiding us is a faint, ominous red glow shimmering in the distance. The closer we get, the more the air smells like burning metal and raw earth, an ancient primal scent. My legs are trembling, completely exhausted, but the anticipation, it acts like pure adrenaline in my veins. Then, we reach the rim of the massive caldera. I look down, and my breath completely catches in my throat. Below us is a massive, churning lake of liquid fire, raging, bubbling, and glowing furiously against the night sky. The sound is deafening. It's a deep, rhythmic roaring, exactly like the ocean, but made entirely of molten rock. You see massive cracks form in the black crust, revealing blinding veins of superheated orange magma underneath. Suddenly, a violent explosion sends a fountain of lava 50 feet into the air, a display of terrifying, raw power. The radiant heat from the pit is so incredibly intense, I physically have to shield my face with my hands. It feels like standing far too close to a roaring bonfire. Except this fire is coming from the center of the earth. I am completely mesmerized. Time just seems to stop as I stare into the raw, beating heart of our planet. You feel so deeply small, so incredibly insignificant, watching forces that have shaped the world for billions of years. A sudden gust of wind brings a thick wave of sulfur dioxide, and we are violently forced to step back. The guides shout at us to move away from the edge. The cliff face is highly unstable, prone to collapsing. One wrong step in the dark, one piece of crumbling rock, and you vanish into a 1,000-degree furnace. The realization sends a sharp, cold shiver down my spine, despite the overwhelming heat radiating from the volcano. We retreat to a safe distance and sit on the hardened lava, quietly watching the inferno rage until dawn. As the pale morning light breaks, the fierce glow of the lava lake fades into thick, dark, suffocating smoke. The sheer physical exhaustion finally hits me, a bone-deep weariness that makes every single muscle in my body scream. We start the long descent back to base camp, my mouth completely dry, my lips cracked, bleeding, and sore. The sun climbs higher, and the temperature immediately spikes. The Danakil Depression is waking up to punish us again. By the time we finally reach the vehicles, I am running purely on empty, physically broken, but mentally wired. I collapse heavily into the seat, closing my eyes, feeling the air conditioning weakly push against the crushing desert heat. Driving back across the endless salt flats, the whole experience feels like some kind of intense, feverish dream. Did I really just walk through pools of toxic acid and stand on the crumbling edge of a boiling volcano? I look down at my boots, stained white with salt, scarred by acid, and melted slightly at the rubber soles. This place, it aggressively strips you down to your absolute core. It removes every comfort, every illusion of safety. It forces you to confront your own mortality, to clearly recognize the incredibly fragile line between life and death. The Danakil Depression is utterly unforgiving. It is harsh, brutal, and entirely indifferent to human suffering or survival. With temperatures well above 50 degrees, poisonous gases, and razor-sharp earth, it truly lives up to being hell on earth. Yet, in the very middle of all that terror, there is a profound, almost sacred beauty that you just can't ignore. The toxic neon colors of Dalol, the resilience of the Afar people, the terrifying, majestic power of Erta Ale. They get deep under your skin. They brand themselves into your memory, leaving a heavy mark that never fades. I've traveled all over the world. I've seen soaring mountains, dense jungles, and forgotten ancient cities, but nothing, absolutely nothing, prepares you for the sheer, raw, unapologetic intensity of the Danakil Depression. It's not just a travel destination. It's a literal test of endurance, a grueling physical and emotional trial by fire. You don't ever conquer a place like this. You just survive it and pray it lets you leave with your life. As the shimmering salt flats finally fade in the rearview mirror, my racing heart rate slowly begins to settle down. I take a deep, long, slow breath, feeling the cooler air fill my lungs, intensely grateful for the simple act of breathing. My whole body aches, my skin is severely scorched, and I am desperately, hopelessly dehydrated to my core. But sitting here right now, staring out at the blurred horizon, I feel more alive than I ever have in my entire life. The constant danger, the extreme heat, the toxic air, they strip away all the world's noise, leaving only raw, pure presence. I survived the hottest, most dangerously extreme place on the planet, and I know it has completely changed who I am. If you ever find yourself drawn to the extremes of the earth, to the wild places where nature still reigns supreme, just remember, hell on earth is breathtakingly beautiful, but it demands your absolute, unwavering respect.